get it down at
Right. Thank you so much for agreeing to be interviewed by Nounouche magazine.
No problem.
So here's the thing. The last time we spoke, we were at the photo shoot.
Yeah.
And you kept talking about Ghost. The character from Power.
Power, yeah.
What is it about that character that speaks to you?
I think it's more of a change for me. The thing that I like about the guy is that he's trying to repent his ways. He wants to change for a better future. Yeah, I know the background is more of coming from the drug lords and still doing it, but when he realized that there's more opportunities than cleaning, the dirty money, doing money laundering, drugs and all those things, he could potentially be one of the greatest, club managers, probably in New York or wherever he is. I wanted to expand more into business, but than being a killer or a thug or anything. So I think it's more about someone doing better to change.
And for you, is that something that you relate to, trying to better yourself for the future? Yeah,
of course. I think you put yourself into his shoes. If it was you, what is it that you could have done? Because first of all, before it was about money, drugs and all those things for him. But then when you start realizing that it does impact your family, then you start realizing the importance of your family. He had a son, he had a daughter, he had a wife, and then comes someone who has been in the past. So it becomes more complicated when it comes to that. But then probably for him, he started realizing that he doesn't want to be part of that life anymore. The most important thing is for him to be clean, be the great man he's supposed to be, than being someone ghost.
Okay, so something you mentioned now is about family, right?
Of course.
For you, can you just give me an idea of how did you grow up? I know your grandmother raised you, but before then you were with your parents.
Of course. Oh, yeah, I was raised by my parents, of course. My parents, I grew up in the little village of Masklong. By 7 months, of course, my mom tells me that I was already, working. But then I have a little bit of flashbacks, memories of when I started crawling, cutting off my, my toes, trying to run around, the yard. I do have that memory a bit there and there, I can still remember. But I think my childhood has always been great. I grew around, my sisters, which is I have 3 sisters before me, and then I have other sisters after me, and then 1 brother. And obviously, growing up in a big family like that, for me, what I can tell you about is when you grow up in a family that loves you, appreciate you, and accept you for who you are. I think you will say you had the best, childhood of your life, and then you look at how your parents, deal with you. It's one kind of a special thing, because for me, from young, I always knew that I'm special, I'm different. My parents, let be me always. They've never tried to change me. So growing up, I'll say it has been the best. As much as I remember, my memory is great. My childhood, my cousins. I grew up in the bush anyway. I grew up, playing sports, which is soccer. And, age of 4, I started playing soccer. And I was always in the bush, come back to school, you go straight to the bush. And then you're with your cousins. Most of them, they were male. So, which is, it made it special and it toughens up you. And you become very, very tough. You're not scared of any challenge because you're always, around the boys. So my entire childhood I've been around boys. So yeah, it has been great. But then my parents, they've raised me well.
You say that you were destined for greatness and you knew from a young age. What does that mean?
I think it's about you knowing what you want, knowing the direction you're heading, knowing things that you can do, to better your life. I always knew that sports can take me away from the streets. And from like age 4, I already knew that I want to be more into sports. Fame and all these things, it wasn't about it. Money wasn't about it, but it was about me portray my greatness in sports, my resilience, just being a great athlete. And by that, it starts from, when you play, soccer, pole to pole, you are all rounder. Each and every one, in the team wants to be part of you, or you already know that you stand for greatness. And for me, I've never looked back since that day. So I always knew that, I had that feeling that, one day I'll be great at what I do.
So now what influence does being raised by a family that loves you wholeheartedly, what influence does that have on you later on when you're now faced with a world that's almost rejecting you?
I think it's more for being positive in everything that you do. I'm not scared of rejection because I'm not scared of trying, and I'm not scared of trying something new. But remember what the love that my family gave me, it gave me the strength, it gave me the power that you can own yourself. You need no validation to anyone. As long as you have people that you love around you, I think that's what's important. The world is just nothing. Those people are just your stranger, Whether they like you, they don't like you, it don't mean anything, because at the end of the day, they never existed. They just exist as you go along, you understand? So for me, being rejected by the world, it's just something like now trying to score a goal, then I miss, you understand? I'm still gonna try again. But, also it comes with that how you portray yourself to the world, showing them like, even if you reject me, it does not stop me or, for being who am I, achieving what I want to achieve, my goals, and just be myself, you understand? So my family gave me that power, that, you own yourself, you get the power in you actually to change the world, to show them that, look, a human, we don't, describe them, or we don't define them by their looks, how they walk, but it's about their actions. When we say action speaks louder than words. For me, it's like, I think my family gave me that, that, go out there, be yourself, enjoy yourself, live your life. Yeah.
And your grandmother, because I read at some point,
Yeah.
Abazalbako sent you to live with her for a bit. Why was that?
I think the situation with my grandmother is more far. She lived with, 2 boys, where, she's getting old. She needs someone who will help her. For me, I was that person because my parents knew that I can do anything. I can do cleaning, I can cook, I can do washing, I can do all those things, Doesn't mean at home when I was with my sisters, I couldn't do them. I could do that better. But then I think I was a perfect fit because I'm very patient. I'm like calm. I don't like going around the bush. I don't like, beating around the bush. I'm just a straight person, If I don't like something, I don't like it. So I think they thought I'm a perfect match that will match, my grandmother in terms of all those things because of more constructive, I like organized things. So I was well organized, actually. In terms of time management, I was good. So they thought, look, you think you can try? I said, it's okay. If you feel like you want me to go there, I can go there. How bad? It was just all about that. It's not about them getting rid of me or anything. But I think that also played the impact, in my life where, I start focusing on sports mainly, not going around the streets. Focus-wise, I start being, more focused on myself than friends. It was just all about me being able to help her, how I can, which is some of the things I was not happy with because of like now I feel like I'm a slave because these 2 boys, they do house chores when they feel like they want to do it, and I'm like, hey.
But you're the girl, so...
No, even if I'm a girl, house choices are not for girls. House choices are people who live in the house. So that should be corrected, If you are dressing, if you can have your own dress, you should be able to wash it, you should be able to iron it. If you can eat, you should be able to wash your dishes. You understand? But also you should be able to cook. So you get what I'm saying?
Young girl, Dusty Village, how do you go from there to now you are racing in the big leagues?
I think, I was discovered by the coach by name Michael Salmon. I was already there, winning, medals in the nationals, already qualified for, to represent South Africa. So what we did, he asked if, the grades I'm in, was in matric anyway in 2008, and then he told me that there are bursaries opportunities this side, and I said, okay, it's cool, but let me finish my studies, that side in Limpopo, so I can know that when I move for good. So I was already good at what I do. I was self-coached that side. Already won, the Commonwealth Youth Games. I've already beaten, the great Kenyans in 800 meters. So obviously for him also, it was opportunity to also showcase his abilities to coach. Mm-hmm. So I joined Pretoria, University of Pretoria, 2009, and moving there, it was an easy transition because I was already exposed, into, international, stage. Already, represented South Africa in the World Championships, World Junior Championships. So for me, it was just that transition, in stepping off, the village and getting to the city. But that it was massive because how I handled myself this side, it was great. It showed that, the maturity was at its best. I knew what I wanted. I knew what I was here to do. So the only thing that I needed to do is just to stay focused and do that. And if you follow through it, you'll see that was crazy because it was just 1 year apart, from moving that side, coming in here, and then you win a world title. So it shows that my abilities and my focus into training was something else. The only thing that I wanted to do is to train and be the best, and make sure that I pass my, get my good grades so I can, have better education. So, that's how I was discovered, discovered through school sports.
Abazali bakho at that point, Batini allowing their 18-year-old daughter to go from the safety of home to the city in Johannesburg, of all places?
I was a crazy one because for me, responsibility came first. I was already responsible myself. From age 12, I was already, up there. I could take care of myself. And what I did when I left home, I just told them, don't worry about me. I'll see you when I come back,
See you when I see you.
Yeah, I see you when I see you. I just left. I get to, here in Pretoria. My dad actually was like near me here in Silverton, but I was not really interested more into, going see him all the time, I was about, building myself so I can stand for myself, I can take care of myself even if they're not there, you understand? I just told them, look, all things that I'll be doing are taken off. You don't have to worry about me. You should worry about me if I don't call you, I don't tell you if I'm fine, you understand? So, but it was an easy, transition because of I left home at 12, going to my grandmother. So, but then leaving, home to come to Pretoria, it was not a stressful part for me. Maybe it was stressful for them because they don't know where I'm going, who I'm going to be staying with. They don't know Michael, it's a new environment for me. But for me, I follow my heart. And I knew that the path I'm taking is perfect for me. I know I'll have a great future. I just told them, look, it's fine. I'll be in the University of Pretoria. If anything bothers, I'll tell you. So, they treat me just like that. They just know that I just want to be myself. I don't want to be bothered. If I need anything, I'll shout. So they just let me go like that. It wasn't something stressful or any kind of, a problem. So yeah, they just let me be me.
But now for you, going from the safety of home to here, were you ever treated differently once you were in Pretoria? So did you get a sense that Abantu Bakjonga slightly differently, like they're treating you?
No, people are always, looking at, I'm used to being, look in a different way. If like I'm telling them I'm a girl, they'll be like, you girl. You get what I'm saying? People are always like that. But my focus was never more on how people treat me. My focus was more on how I treat myself, how I want to live my life. How I treat myself, people will treat me, in a good way. You get what I'm saying? So for me, it was all about, being myself, self-love, self-actualization, self-respect, appreciating myself and accepting myself. And then people will follow. But the minute, you carry yourself like that, people start following what you do. They don't follow your looks. They don't care anymore about she's a different girl. She looks like a boy. No. They follow the work that you do. For me, it was always all about my work. About how I carry myself. So people will always talk. People will always look at me differently. But for me, it was never the case. I never cared about that. So yeah.
And I appreciate what you're saying, but for you, it's all about the work, and you're winning, and you're at your peak, or you're starting to be at your peak. You're quite young, but then the IAA comes, and they say to you, actually, your difference is bothering us.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I know. Yeah.
And I get what you're saying. It is about you, and you wanted to be treated in a particular way. Yeah. But now you're being forced to be treated differently.
Yeah, I know.
How are you feeling?
No, for me, it's, I worry about things that I can control. Other people's perception of me has got nothing to do with me. It's their perception, it's their business, it's their problem. A problem becomes when you try to block me from doing what I love. That's a problem. So it became a problem when they start saying like, no, but you can't run because of you're not women enough. I'm like, what does that mean? You understand? And that's when the saga started, and we started fighting over it. But with me, it don't really bothers me because of I know how I look, I know how I am. I know my differences. So the problem becomes when you start blocking people, you start discriminating them, and then become racist, then that becomes an issue. But the issue of, your opinion is your opinion. Like I said, it has got nothing to do with me. It has to do with me when you start being in my way. You understand? So it has never been a case with me. No, I know how I look, I know how I am. So I've always been like that, always.
So now they're blocking you. Yeah. How do you begin the fight back? Oh, yes.
Yeah. I think that the fight back, it began where, Greg and Benedict, they are working for Nathan and Rose. Those are my legal team. When they came in and say, look, we want to represent you. So I say, yeah, I'll give you an opportunity only if I'll compete. Because if I don't get into the battle, if it doesn't benefit me. So yes, I said, if I'm gonna run, then yes, we will do it. And they came in, they offered the services, they are more pro bono. They made sure that they facilitated me with anything that I want, expects, advices, anything you may name it. So they showed me the light, and I delayed it a bit. So yeah, I was like, look, I'm not yet ready to fight this battle. Let's make sure that I protect myself first. So you understand, I still need to run. I'm still an athlete. I'm still young. I still want to pursue with my career. And then, yeah, they've been there for me. They make sure that I get all necessary stuff I want. So, but it was more for them standing up for me. For me, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just an athlete. My fights, I fight them on the field. They fight legally. So we have a better understanding on how, we strategize in terms of that. So, but yeah, they are the force behind it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm cognizant of time.
Yeah.
So my question, second last question. 2 weeks ago, you then get the judgment that basically confirms that you have been discriminated against all along.
Of course.
How are you feeling?
No, I think for me, it's a great feeling because of when you're fighting a battle like that. It gives you hope, you understand? So I'm happy with the judgment, but remember, this is one hell of a fight. It's like a long walk to freedom. That battle is more for fighting, for inclusivity, you understand? Fighting for human rights. It's not yet me fighting for running. It's a different ruling, you understand? We are appealing to the human court, rights. We like appealing to Supreme Court, the Swiss Supreme Court, to say, look, it's unfair. This ruling is discriminatory. It's inhuman and all those things. And then when they come about the judgment, say yes, the ruling does not protect us as human. You understand? That's the first step that it makes you happy, because of then, at least for once, there are people who are agreeing with you. And for that, for me, it brings me light, because if you are fighting for the young upcoming generation, and then they will be protected first as human, that's the most important thing. And then obviously the secondary one, it will be like, how do we fight it back so then the ruling can be scrapped? So, which is one of the one of the critical one that you don't know what's going to happen, but there's a positivity about it. It makes me happy. I mean, I'm happy. I'm never emotional anyway, but like I don't show even if I'm happy or not. But I think it's great that Human Rights Court played a massive role, made sure that all athletes, does not matter male or female, are all protected against such rulings. But the most important one is that if we can win this one, that allows anyone to compete. Because remember, we categorize those there are two categories, male or female, nothing else. That's what we fight for, you understand? So if we can get to that level, I think we'll be fulfilled. But for me, I'm good.
Okay, last question. You've said that this is going to be a long battle. Are you worried that by the time you are victorious, that it's going to be too late for you to get back on track and do what you really love? Which is to run
not
into
really.
championships?
I've won all major titles, so for me it's never too late. I've achieved anything that I've ever wanted to achieve. So of course they've delayed me, so that one is the past. I can't live in the past. I live in the future. My point here is that the battle is no longer about me. It's about the next, upcoming generation. So I'm not fighting for myself anymore. I'm fighting for the next generation. If I was fighting for myself, I could have gave up a long time ago. I could have stopped. You understand? I'm just it's useless. What am I fighting for? So for me, I have all major titles. I've won anything that I've ever wanted. Now the most important thing is to protect, the young upcoming girls, to make sure that they are not violated, they're included, then they enjoy their childhood, they enjoy their teenage life and stuff like that. So for me, I think I'll say it's about the future, it's not about them. Yep.
Thank you very much.
We really get it down at Nounouche.